This is a Titanic set. What's up everyone, I have an awesome new LOZ set to show y'all, and that's their Sinking Titanic set. This is set number 1060 and has 2,882 pieces. In case you're not familiar with LOZ yet, their bricks are very similar to LEGO, they're just smaller. Specifically, they're 42% the volume of LEGOs. Now, obviously, this set is not the full Titanic ship like LEGO recently did, it's about 1/3 of the ship. However, it also doesn't have that staggering $630 price tag that LEGO sells it for either. I bought this set on AliExpress for $63, and I'll leave a link in the description for you if you're interested. So if this set is 90% cheaper, 58% smaller, and 33% of the ship, that means it's... well, let's just say that it's a good deal. And I think this set is pretty great. The angle that it's built at definitely gives the impression that it's sinking into the icy depths below. Now, I usually wait for multiple new LOZ sets to come out, and then buy several of them at once. But when I saw this set, I knew that I had to get it right away. And let me tell you, I wasn't disappointed. I really do think this set looks great. However, it's not quite perfect either. There were a few things that could have been improved. Also, it's not that easy of a set to build. The hull is fairly delicate, and when you're putting together other sections, it can be kind of awkward just because that angle makes it difficult to hold. However, once it's all put together, it works well. Basically, the design of this set and just the smaller nature of the LOZ bricks means that this set's going to be a little harder than your average LEGO set. Taking a closer look, the first thing we notice is the angle. Using a protractor, it appears to be at 30 degrees, which I have no clue if that's historically accurate or not. I just wanted to use my protractor. We have a nice looking dark red and black hull with the 4 deck levels on top of it. You probably noticed that this set sits on top of a blue base plate to represent the icy waters. And when I say sit, I mean it just rests on top of it, which I thought was kind of disappointing, but I guess it works alright. I do think it would have been better if the base plate was longer, or maybe there was a second one, just so that all of the ship is actually in the water. There were all those iceberg and floating accessory pieces that you saw, but we'll take a look at those in a little bit. As you can see, there are quite a few details on the decks that add to this model. You have the lifeboats and their hoists, lots of railings, and stray pieces of lumber, barrels, and chairs sliding down. There's also some loading cranes, stairs, a mast which sadly doesn't have any of the connecting cables, and one of the iconic smokestacks. I actually had to remove one plate from under the smokestack so that it would tilt at an angle like it's supposed to. And then I think this part here might be part of the ventilation system, but to me it kind of looks like some giant DJ speakers. There's also a passenger hanging on the side here, which is obviously not the right scale to the ship, but I do really like his facial expression. The chairs are also way too big for the ship, but whatever. And there's actually a lot of details on the inside of the decks too, and I wish I had taken some pictures while I was building it, but I'll try to show you the best I can. The top level has a bunch of chairs and tables strewn about, and here it is in the instructions. The next level has 4 bedrooms, 2 of which you can't even see once it's built, but they're all pretty similar. The one on the left is probably the best, with the bed sliding down and the pillow having fallen off. And the level below just has a few things sliding down into the water. You can also see that the hull is brick built, and like I mentioned earlier, it is kind of fragile. It's not too bad once it's all together, and you can definitely pick it up just fine. Just make sure to be careful with it when you do so. But while you're building it, it can be kind of hard to get it all together. There were a couple times some pieces broke off when I was trying to attach some sections, which was kind of frustrating. Also, I don't think these gaps here at the bottom look the greatest. It's definitely not a deal breaker, but if that water-based plate was longer, like I suggested, they could have been hidden with some pieces for the ice and waves. And then this is a small thing, but it kind of annoys me that the propellers don't have enough clearance to turn. Oh, and there's also these large stickers that cover multiple pieces for the portholes on both sides, and I think this adds to the set, but you can obviously leave these off if you don't want them. So here are all the floating sections that help further the appearance of the ocean scene. There's 4 large sections, 2 medium ones, and 8 small ones. We have the tip of the iceberg section, which was necessary and looks good. It has a chest with some gold bars in it. There's a smaller piece of ice on this one with some floating bits. And then these 2 are my favorites with the white canoes. Each one has a sailor, and then this one also has a rescued passenger. And they both have these clear tiles to represent either water or ice diverting around the boat. The 2 medium-sized sections also include minifigures. This one has a lady in a life vest treading some water, and then this one is that scene from the movie of the 2 main characters. Her legs are turned around backwards so that they'll attach to the plate underneath, which looks kind of weird. And I think this is her necklace maybe, but more importantly, can they both fit on that door? I'm not sure. And then here are the smaller floating pieces that have various details and items floating about. Now all of these floating sections are definitely at a larger scale than the Titanic, but if you place them in front and imagine that the sinking ship is far off behind them, I think the perspective works well. Well, minus that guy hanging onto the side of the boat and all those giant chairs everywhere. The set does include lower halves for the 2 minifigures treading water, which is great and means that you can play with them or pose them differently if you want to. But they also give you a ton of random pieces that are supposed to just float around in the water with the other sections. 24 pieces to be exact. Now I think the floating sections that are built on the blue plates look great and really add to the set, but I'm not a fan of all these random parts. I'd much rather have them been incorporated into the scenes, so I probably won't display them. Now this isn't a perfect set. There were some issues with it being a little fragile, like with the hole that I mentioned, and there were a few spots underneath the deck where, while you're building it, it could have used a few more bricks just to help support it a little better. There were also a few mistakes in the instructions, which was new. I haven't ever seen mistakes in the instructions before, and that's where the incorrect piece was called out for in the parts list. But overall, I still think this is a really great set and well worth your money, especially if you're a Titanic fan or if you're just looking for a nice set to display. But let me know in the comments what you think about it and whether or not you think it's a decent alternate to the LEGO version that costs 10 times as much. And if you want to see another cool LOZ set, check out this video right here.